Welcome to the Hey We're Friends podcast. This is episode 45 being recorded on February the 14th, 2019. Today is Valentine's Day. I'm your host, Spanky, and with me today I have...
Matt.
My name is Luke. That's my name.
And I'm single on Valentine's Day. My name is Nathan.
Me too.
Hi, single on Valentine's Day, Nathan.
My name's Nathan, but you can call me single.
So I want to thank all three of you guys for being here.
You're welcome.
For me tonight. I know, Luke, I originally asked you to be on the podcast. Matt, you're stepping in for Jacob tonight, so again, I really appreciate
I'm the
you
shitty
being
replacement.
Nah, it was the next best thing.
And I'm the toilet paper.
Nathan.
I just like attention.
Aw, I love you, buddy. So, how's everybody doing tonight?
We just had some Taco Bell. That was pretty lit.
Taco Bell was pretty good.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored or endorsed by Taco Bell.
But if you want to buy any ad space, I have it.
If anyone knows anyone from Taco Bell,
We have an hour and a half of ad space. Let's do this.
we will talk about Taco
So
Bell.
my favorite item is the cheesy gordita.
Dude, chicken quesadilla, hands down.
Yeah, I agree with this guy. Cheesy quesadilla.
And it's not really the chicken quesadilla part. It's the creamy jalapeno that really brings it all together.
And that crunchy, like that taco shell that isn't exactly a taco. It's more like a flatbread that's been fried.
It's not really that crunchy. It's kind of soft.
It's not even a flatbread.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's just a
It's like
tortilla.
It's a tortilla.
Tortilla.
Okay.
That's what, most tacos are made with.
Yeah, but okay. But what's the bread or like what do they
There's
use
no
for...
bread involved.
Hold on.
This is
Hold
Mexican.
on. What is it they use for the chalupas?
Oh, I don't know. Like,
I think
Isn't
that's
that just fried
tortillas?
bread?
yeah. No, that's just fried tortillas.
but
Is
we're
it?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know how to fry chicken?
No.
Do that to a tortilla.
Still don't know what you're talking about.
I've made fried chicken before, but I don't know if I want to go into explaining the whole process.
Let's just say there's an appointment with you, me, heat, and a bat of oil.
Yes.
It's gonna get hot in there if you know what I'm taking.
Sizzling.
And he's like, oh, yeah, that sounds interesting. Let's go. And then all of a sudden, oh, God, he was right. It was hot.
That'll be popping. Oh, okay. Nice. So. Yeah!
So nice.
You have nothing to say.
No.
Should we refer to the...
No, I just,
Emergency topic list!
no, actually,
That was fast.
I wanted to introduce, Luke and Nate, because Matt's been on the podcast multiple times. He's actually, he's
Hi, man.
featured on
Matt.
the channel quite often, so our audience knows him. But you guys are completely new to the podcast. Luke, Nate, I looked at you and said the opposite names.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Luke. I've been sober for 6 months now.
Hi, Luke.
So, just for disclosure, all three of us met at work. We're all co-workers, and we work at Best Buy together.
We're not sponsored by Best Buy.
But
Ad
Unfortunately.
space. Call today.
do you need a new router? How big is your home? I can get you squared away. But met both of these guys at work. Let's see. Luke, you are our Apple Master.
That's
and
me.
Nathaniel, you are a connected device sales associate.
Yeah.
And I am the smart home expert for anybody who didn't know that.
Basically the same
Nathan,
job.
actually, yeah, we work in the same department, but I feel a little bit special because I have a specific title. But so does Luke.
Are you, over him?
Oh, snap. Here we
No,
go.
no, because I've said this to Nate
quite.
multiple times that, I think of the connected associates as equals. I am not a supervisor. I am not a manager. I have no authority over them.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not going to act like I do, even just because I have a title.
Be very
Does
clear.
Rhett
So
do
he's
that
still,
in computers?
He's still the big spoon, but Rhett? No, not really.
Okay.
Sometimes. He can be like a delegator just because he doesn't want to do it right.
Yeah.
And Rhett, if you're listening, I don't know.
I thought you were about to be
Hate
like...
you.
I thought you were going to say, hey, if you're listening...
Like a
Fuck you.
comment?
That's a nice piece of ass. That's an inside joke.
So, how are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man.
I woke up a couple hours ago.
Yeah. You've been on an opposite sleep schedule For how long now?
Like
Again?
6 months. Oh wait, again. No,
Again.
again it's like a week and a half.
Okay.
Basically since the launch of Apex.
God damn you. That sounded like a perfect segue.
Yeah.
But
Are you gonna take
I don't-
advantage
I don't-
of it?
I don't wanna
We'll
get
get
to
back
it
to it
so
later.
quickly.
Emergency list.
No, we'll get back to it later.
But what they're referring to is that I have like 4 or 5 topics written down to talk about in case we don't have anything to talk about. But I feel like we're better than that.
Apex was my suggestion.
I honestly thought Apex was gonna be a point in the conversation anyways.
Well, it would make most sense because everybody in here dabbles in PC gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And Nathan, you're streaming.
I stream and I play competitively.
And you were playing competitively.
Right now it's Apex. It changes occasionally, but Apex being the biggest game and the one that I'm the best at the moment, it makes it easier to play that one.
What other games have you played competitively? If I could talk tonight.
I played Fortnite professionally for about 4 months, and I did a little bit of competitive Overwatch where I was invited to scrimmages, but I never like really worked hard to be better at it. So
I was just kind of there.
I'll be honest with you. I do not understand the appeal of Fortnite whatsoever.
I
No,
don't
think you'll
anymore.
Find any, resistance here.
Like,
I've never played Fortnite,
Like-
so I'm probably the odd one here.
how I put it is, Fortnite is the best game I've never played. Because one day I decided to log in to some of my favorite online games, and I wasn't shouted at, I wasn't teased, I wasn't told to go kill myself. So thank you, Fortnite, for taking all the 12-year-olds away.
Yeah.
Wow.
It sounds like another post I saw relating to Fortnite. I think it was from a parent's perspective, that like how they didn't have to deal and babysit their kids because they were all too busy playing Fortnite. It was just just put on Fortnite and those little fuckers would shut up.
We could talk about recent
works, it
headlines
works.
in Fortnite. Did you guys hear that PewDiePie is the biggest Fortnite streamer?
he streamed it like one day.
and broke all the records. He's bigger than Ninja. Streams one time.
But, I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised. Dude had a line of people at the Super Bowl holding up a giant
Mr.
sign
Beast, man. It's
that
Mr. Beast.
said,
Yeah, Mr.
that
Beast
said
is huge. Like,
subscribe.
what is Mr. Beast's relationship to PewDiePie?
It's just the meme, man.
Probably just
Subscribe to
friends.
PewDiePie. If you're listening out there.
Friends at this point, but yeah, subscribe to PewDiePie.
YouTube.com/PewDiePie. Subscribe.
And subscribe to this channel. Just a reminder.
Thank you,
But
Nate.
PewDiePie first, and then unsubscribe from T-Series while you're at it.
Why would you be subscribed to T-Series anyway?
Just for those up
Just
there.
in case,
might be.
unsubscribe.
That's fair.
And they use like little bots to like subscribe accounts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
unsubscribe all the bots too.
Nefarious. I'm throwing shade. I have no evidence to back up that claim.
That's okay.
Fuck
Because
those
everybody
Indians.
believes it anyway.
And on the subject of Apex, they say PewDiePie killed Fortnite because the same day he streamed it was the same day Apex came out. Boom. Fortnite is gone.
Well, he played a Roblox the other day in another bid to beat T-Series in
He got banned from Roblox.
Yeah,
It's written in their terms of service that he can't play.
Why? What did he do?
Just like the controversy and stuff. You know, the whole like Wall Street Journal articles and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
All
whole,
of it
like,
unfounded. Okay,
like-
so like
Yeah, I know that.
saying the
But
N-word on stream,
they
that's a little
banned
bit
him
different.
just
but like
because
all
of
the
that?
yeah.
Yeah, the
All the
Viber,
the anti-Semitic stuff. That's all just like it was all satire, but of course,
Yeah,
satire
of
doesn't
course,
sell articles.
nobody fucking cares about the actual context of the situation. But that just blows my mind that somebody would be like, you know, one of the most influential YouTubers in the world, one of the most influential people on the internet. Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
And it's like,
Possible they were just trying to get numbers from making him not be able to do anything with it, or gain attention.
see, now
through
we're
a
getting
different
into
way.
conspiracy level.
I
I
wa-
mean,
I watched the video, PewDiePie like explaining it because he does like this weekly news segment
Mhm.
where he
Pew
calls
News.
himself
and
like,
I'd like to correct you there.
Gloria.
Yeah, I was about to say PewDiePie does not host Pew News.
Gloria Burger or
Burger.
Poppy
Harlow.
Poppy Hollow. But she recently did the story of how like Roblox banned PewDiePie, and apparently like you said, it's in the terms of service that anybody who even references brings up
Oh, yeah,
posts
no.
a link
That's
the
so,
PewDiePie gets automatically banned.
Definitely.
So it
That's
made
so
the most
petty.
sense that the guy who literally is PewDiePie would get banned, but it's so ridiculous.
like literally, so you can
that
have
that's in
like
their rules to begin with.
player-made items in the game that you can like market and stuff like that. And if you reference PewDiePie like in your items, like they're getting taken off, and like your accounts are getting like strikes and stuff. It's ridiculous.
It's up to PewDiePie.
Yeah, subscribe to PewDiePie. He needs it. That
Get away
sub gap
from Roblox.
is ever closing, and he's about to go on vacation. So go ahead and create like 3 more accounts, maybe 2. Why stop at 3? You could do like I don't know, 50,
What's
70.
what's the
200?
gap right now between him and T-Series?
Well,
I don't know off
I
the top
heard
of
it
my
was
head.
about 100,000.
Okay.
It keeps like dipping between like tens of thousands and like they gain ahead, and then it starts to get close again. It's always been back and forth.
Yeah.
But he's always stayed ahead.
Luckily,
No,
He was
that's
streaming-
not luck. It is honestly force
That
of
man is a
will from the
god.
internet.
On this planet.
well, there's so much shit that happened just from people wanting to subscribe to PewDiePie or telling people to subscribe to PewDiePie, like the printer hack
That's a good
fiasco.
one.
that,
Well, I mean, it even goes farther than that. Some of the places that have at one point released articles bashing PewDiePie have even said, hey, go sub to PewDiePie and not T-Series. Just to make sure he stays on top.
it's like the closest thing YouTube has ever came to being like an actual community besides the bullshit YouTube Rewind.
No, yeah. I like that. Like it's like so
That's true.
mainstream, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like we're rooting for our team player, right?
Yeah.
But like people that don't even have like affiliation with YouTube, or maybe have even never even seen PewDiePie, like they're on it for the meme though. But I mean, like it's interesting to see, just from like a social or political standpoint, you know.
Yeah, social, political, and business, as like the whole community rallies around him just because they're like, no, the biggest person on the platform should be a YouTuber.
And that's very
So
fair.
even people who
That's
are
true.
like, who don't like his content, like I don't watch his content all the time, but fuck yeah, I'm gonna subscribe to make sure that T-Series doesn't pass him.
It's like a
'Cause-
respect thing at this
Yeah.
point. like-
standing up for our rights. Are you doing your part at home? I'm talking to you. Do you feel that sense of conviction?
Well, I mean, if we wanted to stand up for our rights, we should just start standing up to YouTube themselves. Fucking cunts.
But if you're watching this YouTube,
Like,
Plenty of ad space.
but I mean, no, they recently said that they were going to take away the like button.
Why?
Or
Just-
no,
just
not
the
the
dislike
the
button.
no,
dislike button?
just the dislike button. Yeah,
Cyber.
they're going to take away the dislike button because they were like, tons
Because
of
they
people
got
just
disliked so
band
many
together
times.
and mob mentality forces them to dislike, and it's like, no, that's because they genuinely don't like something. Don't take away the dislike button just because you have the most disliked video
Yeah, I
in
was
the
about to
world.
say, of course, that's the big
They just don't
one.
want the record to be broken.
This is it.
They finally
YouTube Rewind,
surpassed
most hated video.
Yeah, they surpassed Justin Bieber's baby.
Baby,
That was
yeah.
what was holding it for
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I'm sure you guys saw the article too, but Susan's like own like children told her the video was
Yeah.
cringy.
Yeah, they even told her it was bad and cringy, and that's hilarious.
I'd like to think that they used that like, verbatim, like called it cringy.
Like I would love it. She comes home. She just finished up uploading YouTube Rewind, and she can't wait to see how everybody reacts. She gets home. She's like, "Hey, we released YouTube Rewind," and her kids just looked at her and went, "Mom, it fucking sucks."
Because at
Just
this
like,
point, like
oof.
YouTube Rewind just isn't. It's not a rewind anymore. It's just a commercial for shareholders.
It really is.
Yeah, it
Just
really
to
is.
just to promote YouTube as like the profitable business they are. Like they showcase like the most popular people instead of like who's actually.
they
Well-
they promote the most popular, what is it? Commercial friendly.
I was about to say the people that fit their
Advertiser
agenda,
friendly.
Yeah.
Because like they have a business that they're trying to attend to. They're not actually trying to get sentimental with the year.
Yeah. Which I can understand. They are a business at heart, and I'll never argue that, like, against that fact. But at the same time, if you didn't have this huge community of people creating content, who the fuck would come to YouTube? If all of a sudden tomorrow, almost every single creator started making videos on, say, Vimeo, the people actually coming to YouTube would be small, outside of the small creators who would go, "Oh, we have a chance now." Outside of those people, us included, everybody would just go, all right, I watch my stuff on Vimeo now, because they have the people that I'm interested in. It's not YouTube we're interested in, it's the people. YouTube doesn't get it.
It's like just as a platform, like YouTube has been getting harder and harder to climb because of how saturated it is with other content creators. It's weird to think of it, like not only as like a job, but as like a competition of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
How
Definitely, you're competing for people's attention, competing for views.
Yep, you have to like tell people why you're good and why you should be watching me instead of that other guy.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like related topics, like fucking Let's Players. Like they probably have the hardest time getting big. Because like, PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Game Grumps, Achievement Hunters, like every like big like gaming centric YouTube channel, they've been around for years before everybody else wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you also have to look at it as another way that YouTube's kind of like, really guys, instead of ever going, hey, this guy's up and coming, he's gotten a lot of views recently, let's put him in featured or something. They just go, well, they dropped an F-bomb once, so they're not advertiser friendly. Let's go with this guy who hasn't dropped any F-bombs. And that kind of shit. So you have to also be very particular about how you act and what you say.
Yeah, you have to like self-censor. Just, again, appeal to those like fucking ad holders.
Yeah.
But, the Hey We're Friends podcast is a completely candid experience.
Yes.
We talk about whatever the fuck we want.
Fuck.
No rules. Thank you, Nate. High five.
There's an hour and a half of sponsor space open.
That's why like YouTubers that are smaller or even some of the higher up ones that just have big audiences but are very much an uncensored kind of experience, they have to go directly to the ad guy and be like, hey, I think our brands align, you should put your ads here, and make deals that way, because YouTube's just like, nah, we love this demonetization button, it's our favorite.
It's like a double-edged sword trying to climb YouTube now, because you can have like no views, no subscribers, but make whatever the fuck kind of content you want. Not until like whatever like algorithm or robot AI they have that catches any kind of inappropriate content in your like channel, then you're completely fine. But you're like completely off the fucking record. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. But as soon as you gain any kind of notoriety, those standards that you're being held up to, all of a sudden, these people aren't liking you for just the stuff that you used to make. Now you gotta go with these rules that have been established. Not only like, being advertiser friendly, which is basically self-censorship. Like, you're just neutering your content for the sake of profit. And that's not what YouTube used to be. It used to be like, people like this, people watch this, and that was it.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Filthy Frank out there.
And like, I get that they need to have advertiser friendly people, but at the same time, there's a whole ton of people in the world who like different types of things. If I want to go and watch not advertiser friendly dude eating a scorpion, I want to watch a non advertiser friendly dude eating a scorpion.
Because people want to watch stuff they relate to. Like, so they don't care like how.
Okay, I'm not saying I relate to eating a scorpion.
It's
just
okay.
kind of an out there example.
If it tastes good, it tastes good.
Yeah.
Yeah, try anything once, right?
Crickets, not that bad.
Well, I think it because obviously, like,
exactly. It's 2019. Try a dick.
Content. Especially scorpion dick. I heard it's great this time of year.
I gotta boil it like just right.
Anyways, it's like an interesting delta though, because obviously like the creators can still produce this sort of content, but it's almost at their own loss, because it discounts their channel to YouTube, as we already talked about, like the volatile environment with AdSense and such. So I mean, like, it's almost like their hands are tied, because these people, especially like the ones that are notable, like this is their living, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you could still produce that video, but like you're not gonna get income for that video, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is their sole source of income, so it's almost like forced censorship in a way.
And then now that's why you're seeing more and more YouTubers preach that, diversify your revenue streams. Hey, I've got merch, I've got a Patreon, I've got YouTube, and then I have my own sponsors that I'm making deals with outside of that, just to be able to stay afloat. Because if they don't know if one day, oh, well, we didn't get any monetization from YouTube this whole week, even though we spent, let's see, all the people, and then we've got editors, and then, the rent for the building. Shit, we just lost like 10 grand this week.
And that can completely kill the channel. Or somebody's career. Even if it's just like a 1 million like YouTuber.
That could be that.
Speaking of like self-censorship and everything, and how like not following the rules can get you fucked. There was this Twitch streamer
Oh,
recently who like got her Twitch channel banned because apparently she was anti-trans when she never said anything of the sort. And instead of like Twitch like giving her access to her archive or everything, they just completely wiped it clean.
That's
where like she
kind of
could have like proved
fucked.
her case to where somebody just kind of reported bullshit and she had no way to defend herself, and now her livelihood is just
Yeah.
gone.
No,
That's kind of
Deadmau5
fucked up.
Also got banned on Twitch recently.
What did he do?
He said something slightly homophobic about somebody that was stream sniping in PUBG, and he got banned on Twitch for it.
Did he say like,
So-
"Oh, that
He
shit's
actually-
gay"? Or
Probably, it's probably something like that.
So
I could
wait,
probably
they're
find
gonna
the article
they're gonna
real quick.
ban somebody who's slightly anti-trans or accused of being anti-trans or anti-gay, but they don't ban the dude who was on Twitch beating his wife.
that guy got arrested,
undone.
so I think that's different.
But
Is
still,
the account still active?
account is still active.
I need answers.
The account is still active. Or the guy who told his wife that she could go suck a dick and then hit his daughter, which by the way, that dude still streams, and yet that makes no fucking sense to me.
Yeah, and going back to like the alleged anti-trans like female Twitch streamer, all she said was that there are two genders.
Yeah, no,
That's
that was it. And she even clarified that she was talking about biological genders, and she even, at least from her own reports, like, obviously we can't go back and watch the VOD.
Yeah.
She says during the conversation that she openly said, like, I support trans people. This isn't like supposed to be like a derogatory comment, but biologically, I believe there's only two genders, male and female, but still got banned. Like in the same sentence, like made sure, like, hey, I'm not trying to say like if you identify as something in between, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But biologically, like you either have a penis or a vagina. Like,
Yeah, it wasn't like at a slight to like.
Yeah.
You know?
It wasn't a slight. Like it wasn't like if you think like you're a guy who wants to be a woman, you're a piece of shit. It was nothing like
Yeah.
that.
See,
It was just like you can believe
Imagine
and you can
having an
act
opinion.
however you want. But I think she was just going on a scientific standard that like there's only like two like human autonomies.
yeah.
The one with a penis, the one with a vagina.
See,
And
like,
she didn't care if you made the transition between or like
yeah.
identified as neither.
Yeah.
She was just stating there's a penis and a vagina. That's it.
that kind of stuff, like, that people just get so angry about it so quickly just really aggravates me. Just being like, okay, two people can have a difference of opinion, but not in 2019 and 2018. In 2019 and 2018, if you have a different opinion, you can go burn in fire, according to most people on the internet these
so-
days.
It
Very
was
And
this
that-
witch
whole
hunt. Yeah.
and that-
outrage culture that spawned, like from like not like Tumblr.
Oh, yeah.
What's another one?
Twitter.
No, I would say Tumblr would probably be the strongest port of this outrage culture, where they were just getting mad at anything that
Yeah,
they
Tumblr land whales.
consumed was inappropriate.
And it blows my mind. People trap themselves in these echo chambers of, oh, I only pay attention to people who have the same exact opinion as me. And then when they meet somebody who doesn't,
That
it's
person's
like,
a monster.
yeah, it's like, hi, I support women's rights. All women? Yes, all women. You're still a Nazi. Like, shit like that doesn't make sense. Like, at one point, they were calling, oh God, who was it? It was some actor who is openly homosexual, a fascist, Nazi, because he looked at a woman, which made no fucking sense.
Just don't look at anybody.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
stay inside.
No,
Bird box.
like, it seems
real
like
life.
every week there's these new stories about, you know, that guy or that girl did something. Well, they must be evil now. And everybody has to agree that they're
it's
evil.
so quick to just hating on somebody.
Mhm.
Like Luke, you forgot to throw your bottle away. You fucking Nazi.
There's still water in it. Like, it's like, I know you guys can't see this, but imagine I'm holding a bottle of Aquafina, not sponsored by the way, but an hour and a half,
That's
and it's like 90% filled. I'm sorry I haven't thrown it away.
Meanwhile, Clinton's
You know
bottle
what?
of water is completely empty.
Can we get some
Throw it away, Clinton.
ASMR in here? Do you hear how full this is?
Oh.
But it's just it's a literal witch hunt, you know. If you have any difference of not even just popular opinion, but like in opinion, that's just strongly one way or the other.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You have any opinion whatsoever. You like Trump, you dislike Trump, you like Hillary, you don't like Hillary. You have an opinion on anything. You could walk outside and be like, I like those clouds, and somebody's pissed about that fact.
But no,
so you like clouds and not the bright blue sky in which the sun can give us its energy.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Matt.
But like we live in a day and age where like the internet gives people the power to like literally fuck your livelihood over just because you said something that you don't disagree with. You know?
And like it's the thing that like not only is it like the outrage culture like affecting people today, but it's also retroactively fucking with people who said shit like years ago. Probably changed their lifestyle or opinion since then.
James Gunn got fired over comments he made over a decade ago. And then when they were like, oh, but he said that a decade ago, they were like, oh, but look at this, he said 9.5 years ago. That's less than a decade. And then he got fired.
Like our culture, society has changed like within like every 5 years, so it makes sense that like if somebody said something like this like 10 years ago, they don't necessarily agree with it today. Like I can like Facebook reminds me every fucking day that I was a fucking weirdo.
Yeah,
and I never share that shit.
Why do you think I deleted Facebook? I didn't need a reminder every day, but I have never stopped being a weirdo.
But imagine that, like, you're scrolling through your, like, on this day on Facebook, and you find a post from, like, 9 years ago, and you said, like, one, like, racy thing. Something that you, today, think I should have never seen that. And somebody else just takes this and just smears your name with it. It's like,
oh, yeah, no, definitely.
I'm a completely different person than I was when I was fucking 17.
The worst part is, like, some of these accounts... Like, it's literally not even their own words. Like, people are sharing stuff. And because they shared it. Yeah. Now, you obviously agree 110% with the views, expressed in whatever that you shared or that you're... Even if you quote somebody who says something controversial, of course you 100% no falter align with that political belief all of a sudden. It's ridiculous.
And, like, there's no sense of being, like, indifferent or like sensual in any kind of subject matter anymore.
You
like,
can't be moderate anymore.
You're either with me or you're against me mentality that also sparked the, like, not only like during the presidential election, with Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, and then like all the like the third parties. Like, like if you voted for any like Libertarian or Green Party, you voted against Hillary, which apparently made you a Trump supporter. And I was like,
or you
what?
Or by voting for them, you were against Trump, which made you a Democrat, and you can't be moderate anymore. You're either complete full-on left-wing or complete full-on right-wing, and if you're anywhere in the middle, you can go fuck yourself because everyone now hates you.
It sucks for the people who just don't care. You're making me care, and I don't want to.
Me, it's just like, I want to be in the middle. Leave me there. And if you got a problem with it, suck a dick. I don't know.
I want to hang out with my Republican friend, but I will also want to hang out with my Democratic friend.
But you can't because fuck them.
Guilty by association, man. That's exactly it, I think one of the worst parts, and lesser discussed, is almost like the up and approaching death of satire. Like you can't even purposely make something that may even support the cause, but in the form of satire, because people still legitimately take it seriously, even if you like obviously stated as satire. It's your opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like they had the dude who got his girlfriend to or girlfriend's dog to start like, Sig Heil at Nazi propaganda, and then he goes to fucking jail for it.
Yeah,
he got like they actually charged him with it, and he was found guilty.
Weird.
And he openly stated in the video that he was like, she acts like this dog is the cutest thing in the world, so I'm going to turn it into the least cute thing ever.
Yeah.
A Nazi. It's the worst thing in history. And they were like, nope, even though you said that, you still supported Nazis.
The complete lack of context. The same thing that butchered PewDiePie.
And then I'm sitting here just like, okay, if you guys over there are going to be all up against Nazis, y'all should fucking come to America. We got a bunch of them. We got a bunch of weird people.
Well, that's the worst part, I guess, out of it all, is like these witch hunts results in like people that really don't deserve to take the hit take the hit, but then like the people that are actually committing like the violent acts, the extreme activities and things like that don't even get like scratched or touched. You know what I'm saying?
Like you've got the people on the right wing who are like kill black people, and then you've got the people on the left wing saying kill white people, even if they are white. And it's like, okay, those two groups don't get in trouble, but this guy who made a racy joke on Twitter and he happened to not be, say, black, he's the one who's in trouble. Like, what about these two large groups?
I think it goes back to who's more popular, or who has like a bigger face in the public.
Yeah, because
Same
a lot
thing.
of times it does feel like people are just trying to attack the really popular ones to, I guess, tear them down for I don't know why. Like,
Yeah,
I don't get why somebody would do that, but I mean, that's what it almost
they'll,
seems
like
like.
attack a figurehead for a company before they attack Jim next door.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, somebody's always got to be
Or-
the scapegoat, you know.
Or attacking, what was it, Kevin Hart because of something he said a decade ago. Like, so that means somebody had to go through a decade's worth of tweets to find that. They're pretty determined to ruin his life then.
yeah, like that was more of an attack rather than just exposing somebody.
Yeah.
Because again, people change.
Yeah.
Like the only people I would expect wouldn't change would be KKK members, the Westboro Baptist Church,
Yep.
or any kind of like terrorist group that you'd find even in our home soil.
Oh, Goat Funkers International. Okay.
Because
ISIS,
they were
Goat
like
Funkers International.
they were born into this mindset, and they pretty much live their lives surrounded by that, which is why they can't change, because there's nothing else that they know. And it's the same thing with these like echo chambers that you're finding from like the Tumblr outrage culture. It's just like all these people just
but
raving about
it's
one thing
spawning
they've
into
heard.
the real world tui. That's why we have groups like Antifa now. Which, by the way, I love the fact that our government has actually labeled Antifa a terrorist organization. I absolutely love that, because they were going to rallies and things like that of people not even rallying against anything they believe in. They were just like, hey, we have a Veterans Day thing coming up, and we're going to give support to our veterans while we also bury one of our veterans in the ground because he died this week. And they went to his funeral and called a 63-year-old veteran a Satanist for supporting our country, and what else did he say? Because I watched the video on it, and I like the video taken from the event. And he also said that he was the worst person on earth. He was a fascist. He was against black people. Telling this to a black veteran who fought in Vietnam. And it's like, why do those people, like, you're so against, certain mentality that you're just like, that guy who might maybe have that same mentality, I'm going to attack him, even if they have no proof.
Well, that's the worst part. Like, I don't think many, if at all, in any of these cases, like, actual evidence has come into play. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see one headline, you get one share, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's trending on, Twitter the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the accepted opinion. And that's the sad part about it.
And that's the emergence of fake news. Because like, so many people just read these
Fake
headlines
news.
and they just
News.
and they just completely accept it as fact.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a clickbait headline that actually means the opposite of what they're trying to talk about.
That's why I tell people, if you ever look at Facebook and you see a headline, just know this. It's fucking lying.
Well, I think it's interesting too, because like, so these news organizations and stuff are doing this as like a clickbait scenario, right? Like we want more views, we want more traffic. But what I think ultimately the effect is going to be is people are realizing that they're losing their credibility, because people are openly like, they know this is bullshit,
Oh, yeah.
There's always, of course, the big crowd that doesn't know, say, the person they're talking. Let's say even just the PewDiePie situation. Like, if I didn't watch PewDiePie and for whatever reason still read like printed news, I would probably think he's a racist, you know.
Well,
but because of like my situation and the way that, because I watch his videos and stuff like that, I know that's not true. But sadly, there's people that will never be convinced otherwise. But to me, that's a huge hit to the credibility of a lot of these news stations, especially like Wall Street Journal, Vice, all these guys.
BuzzFeed.
When I was in college, I actually took a media class, and like a good part of the semester, we was actually focusing on reading the same like event through different news organizations. And I took this class with you.
Yep, you did.
Yep.
I think that was the year we met.
That was the year we met because we were at SFCC with Mr. Bona.
Yeah.
But he would literally just have us like read an article about some kind of event, and then literally read the same event told from the eyes of the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Or not even that, like just different like news sources, like CNN versus Fox, and how they deliberately put their own spin into it. How CNN was celebrating it, but Fox was damning it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how each side would give the facts, but leave out certain ones that would disprove their
Anything
point.
that would just like make their case stronger. That's the only thing they cared about.
Oh yeah.
Without the whole story.
And then like, what was it? This was a while back. There was riots going on, and somebody took a controversial photo where it was like 4 dudes in squat approaching towards this one guy holding a rock in the middle of this riot. And they were like, look how these 4 SWAT fully geared police officers are coming after this one person. They're militarized police, yada, yada, yada. And then I saw a picture, the exact same incident from the other side. They were marching towards about 500 people, all holding giant rocks, sticks, and some of them had guns. Yeah, I'm kind of okay with them being militarized at that point.
Yeah.
Seeing as in the background you could see multiple burning cars. Yeah, it's probably not all that great in there. But yeah, you see that every day now though. Like everywhere's got their own deal. And then to kind of shine a light on why they do all this clickbaity stuff is there was actually an interview done with the I guess you would call him the CEO, the president of BuzzFeed recently. And he's talking about, things they have to do to get traffic. And then he says something that just blew me away. And he's like, yeah, we have to really go look at subscriber-based models because, our other option is YouTube. And at that point, we'd rather not because... And then he listed, 5 comedy channels that vaguely do somewhat of news. And he's like, yeah, we don't want to be like them. And they just make shit up. And people got angry because... There are people like the Young Turks, Philip DeFranco, who do news well. They're fucking good at it. And they're like, okay, you're just nitpicking your examples to prove your point while ignoring the whole rest of the community that's doing it correctly. So they, it's like these journalists have this mentality of we're fucking great. We're awesome. We can't be like all those people. So we have to make clickbaity stuff to bring them into our website. And let's just dabble with the truth.
Yeah, they got to prove that they're somehow superior to the other sources.
Yeah.
And making sure that their readers are realizing that everybody else is terrible.
Yeah. Which completely, that defeats the point of news. See, I like news, because my mom has VHS tapes from when she was a little girl of news from when she was in during the 80s and during the 70s. And she was like, this is great. I was like, why? And she hit play. And the dude just gave the news.
Just facts.
No opinion.
No opinions.
Not a single opinion anywhere. He was monotone throughout. No emotion whatsoever.
Boring as fuck as he should be.
Just gave the facts. And then you get to decide what you want. And I'm like, man, the news should be like that. And because if you talk about the news with my mother, whoo-wee.
Oh, not
Talk
back
about
in
anger.
times, the news only played for maybe 1 hour or multiple parts throughout the day.
Yeah,
And then since the late 70s, the early 80s, they went through this 24/7 format.
Yeah, the
So they
video,
just
the VHS tape
constantly
was
just-
in the middle of that.
They just had to constantly just come up with shit to talk about.
Mhm.
And it got to
Or
a point where
just talk about the
opinions
same
became
thing for
the most
7 hours straight.
Yeah. So that was a weird 40 minutes of political, I guess, social commentary talk.
And we're not done yet.
No.
This never happens.
Yeah, literally never has.
Never
usually,
happens.
usually it is 40 minutes of dick jokes and penis conversation, and then we talk about games for 30 minutes, and then we kind of ramble our way through the last 15 minutes or so, and then it's over.
But as a disclaimer, I I think I like to be as unbiased as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Though
Me too.
politically, I would say that I am more like sensual, but leans a little bit closer to the left side.
I would
Typically, I
agree.
tend to agree more with the left, like Democratic. And,
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So if you have any like opposing ideas and beliefs, that's something we can talk about.
Yeah,
I don't hate you
Oh, yeah, definitely.
for
Yeah.
thinking that way,
yeah,
but
of course.
don't hate me for thinking
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah,
I think we stated it earlier, but that's just like the mentality of today is like people can't have different opinions. Like the way I think of it, like of course I believe the way I believe, but I understand that I could still be wrong, and that other people could also disagree. But that's not a problem,
Yeah.
necessarily.
I think a really good way of putting it is like two people can have completely differing views, but as long as you don't hate that person, you're still open for discussion. Like, you don't have to hate them just because they think something different. So
And I
that
also
way you don't
don't-
close yourself off.
Don't think necessarily the mission is to convince them otherwise. Now, granted, there are situations where there is right and wrong, but a lot of this stuff is gray.
Yeah.
You can fall on either end of the spectrum. But some people like make it their mission that if you don't align 100% with me, I'm either gonna make you or we're not gonna talk.
Yeah,
You know.
and then they don't realize
I feel like
that,
those kind of people are still just holding their calls.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
you're,
yeah.
you're getting
Oh,
rid
yeah.
of a potential ally and making them an enemy on purpose because they don't agree with you 100%. It might
Oh,
be
yeah.
70%, but if it's not 100, it's nothing.
No,
Yeah.
definitely.
Like once you do that, like you almost have no reason to even argue anymore because it's like, all right, you've just proven to everybody you were trying to argue with that you were completely irrational.
I feel like this podcast is kind of like a reset of like what the past few have been. Like,
Yeah.
they've just been like nothing but nonsensical like dick jokes and like ridiculous stories about the stupid shit we've done. But I think this is kind of like
We can talk about
one
penis.
one
you know?
one every out of 5 podcasts has to be like some form of actual intelligent
Yeah.
conversation.
We still have like another 50 minutes to talk about penis. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, we did have a conversation on not the last podcast I was on, or I think it was the last one I was on, about fucking animals. So I think this is a much better baseline for us to do. I honestly do, because we were
Major.
scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I
there.
know you bring it up, and I want to go for it now.
Oh god.
Today's Valentine's Day. I feel like it works. So
Have you told
Nathan,
your dog?
Nathan, Lucas,
Yeah.
Nathaniel, Luke.
Lucifer.
Lucy.
So
Hitler.
back in 2014, when Spank and Jake just started, we were playing this series for the channel, Jack and Dexter. It was the first game. Shit at the game, shit at commentary, because we were just
Very
starting out.
shit.
There's
Right?
somewhere.
Fast forward, not a lot
My
changed.
great idea. My great idea was to find a list of questions so we could fill up the dead air while we're like not talking. And I find this one question. The question
Okay.
is,
I'm ready for it.
if your loved one gets turned into an animal and you had to fuck this animal
To bring him back.
to bring him back, which animal would it be?
Oh, you get to choose what they turn into? The question is not just if you fuck them.
No. You which
No,
animal?
what animal
Oh,
would you
God.
prefer
Yeah.
to fuck?
Do
to
I
bring
have
your
to
loved
say
one
I
back?
prefer it? Can I just
Yeah.
choose like the
Yeah,
lesser of evil?
You can choose the lesser of
And
evil,
just,
but
just
that
to be
means
fair,
you prefer it
just
over
to be
something
fair,
else.
I will tell you previous answers from other people.
Uh huh.
So
Okay.
me, for an example, I picked a bear.
Okay.
My reason being was because the bear is a bigger thing. I wouldn't be able to hurt it with my size. Like, not just as a fat person or or as a commentary about my dick, but I feel like it would be the most compatible size unit. Jacob's answer.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Go for
Because
it.
this is very important for your answer.
Go for it.
Do they still maintain their I guess their human nature and their knowledge, or do they turn savage? Because I don't know if a bear would be my choice.
I don't think we ever actually specified that.
if it has teeth and claws and would not be with it. Was it consensual?
During the episode where the conversation happened, I did kind of like go into it, and I explained
okay.
that like your loved one still has memories of you, but can't act upon them. It was like a duck
Will
can't
the bear
do human
kill
things.
you?
No.
So it essentially sounds like the bear won't kill you, but if you bring a friend, that guy's fucked.
I see.
Not
So
in
it
the
knows
pleasant
who
way.
you are. It's just the least traumatizing experience you can think of, and something that would be the most compatible for you. So I picked bear. Jacob picked a cow. Matt, what was your answer?
I want to say, and I hate that I said this,
I can go back and find it.
but I want to say it was because I can only imagine myself saying one of two answers, and the only one that I'm pretty sure I went with at the time is because I love anime, probably a cat girl.
There's no human-like features. This is 100% wild animal.
I know, and I still think I went with cat. But it would have to be a big cat.
Yeah. A tiger.
Yeah,
A
some
puma.
Does
yeah,
the
pumas are
family
pretty
member-
hot.
Do they retain physical damage from this event?
No, after climax, they're back to normal.
Okay,
Yeah,
but I'm saying
they're
like
staying full animal until you finish.
if this dude's like just hustled up on like a kitten, is like their asshole like stretched the fuck out when they come back? You know what I'm saying? Or like
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay. Nate, since you have been the most quiet during this podcast, I want you to go
God.
first.
Okay, so first off the bat, I have no idea what animal vagina feels good. So
Dolphin would probably though. I think that was my other answer.
honestly, I think
You
I'd
found their
say
blowhole?
and also like to clarify, we didn't specify fuck them in their vagina, just in case you like other orifices in animals. For the viewers out
You
there,
just gotta fuck this animal to bring.
answer at home. What's your
Honestly, I'd
response
just say
down in the
cheetah.
comments?
You're gonna. You gonna go with cheetah?
a cheetah. Yeah.
How are you gonna catch her?
What? They don't hate me.
It's very simple to catch a cheetah.
You just catch them.
Yeah. No, like, okay, how fast does a cheetah run?
Like a
They
lot
can't.
fast?
They run real
40,
fast,
Like 40 to 50
but they
miles
can't
an
run
hour.
that fast
70
forever.
to 80,
70 to 80. I was
depending
right.
on
Underestimated.
the terrain.
the terrain.
Terrain.
70 or 80.
60,
depending
70,
on
maybe
terrain.
even upwards of 80. But here's the thing. Did you know that if a cheetah runs for more than 3 minutes,
Straight facts.
it will straight die?
Not gay die.
Nate, you just gotta follow your
Yeah,
car.
Exactly.
So literally, humans are built as marathon hunters.
But if you
they're
fuck
built
them,
as sprinters.
do they
You
come
just
back
gotta
to
keep
life?
up.
Is
No,
it true
if-
love?
If you kill your animal partner in the process,
Do they
you've
retain
killed
feelings
your
when they come
girlfriend.
back?
They
Is it
remember
awkward
the
now?
whole thing.
Oh my god.
So Nathan, you pick a cheetah.
I pick a cheetah.
Cheetah. Okay.
Oh god.
You can
Well,
do
like
it.
what
I'll
made
catch it.
you think cheetah?
Yeah, I want some more support.
I figured the vagina wouldn't be too tight, so I didn't want to hurt it. You know.
That's why I said
Same-
a large
same reason
cat.
everybody else. Yeah.
All right. How about you, Luke?
I also need to know, just for my own conscience and for the viewers out there, is this a consensual act? Do they want to be brought back by this act?
I mean, my cheetah's obviously running anyways.
Well, that's man. What if your partner didn't
you see,
want to come back?
the comment section might be all after me if they weren't, if it wasn't consensual. You know, I can't be outed. I have to make sure this is clear.
I never thought about that.
Darn, that was like the first thought on my mind. Are they okay with it?
You just made everyone here feel very awkward.
Damn.
I would imagine that like
I'd imagine they
would want to work with you because they don't want to
Yeah,
be this,
maybe they wanna come
this
back.
animal anymore. But
They're,
that brings up another interesting like point though. Like, what if your girlfriend wanted to stay that animal?
I'll just
like,
move on.
Would you just
Fuck
abstain
off.
then?
Huh?
Would you just abstain then? Or maybe it's like a cucking situation where she still has needs, but like you can't do it because it would bring her back. You know
So
what I'm saying?
Nathan has to find male cheetahs.
no, he's like, yes, at night.
No, I just move on.
No.
It's like
no,
a
just move
fucking
on.
National Geographic documentary.
no. At night, he's like, I crawl into bed with my cheetah lover. We snuggle up close. And then Rob, our cheetah neighbor, comes and fucks the shit out of her
While I watch in the corner.
with a nice glass of Pinot Noir and
Earplugs, because that shit's
no, Pinot Noir and AirPods.
my AirPods.
Okay, but to answer your question, yes, completely consensual.
Completely consensual.
Yeah.
Damn,
So my cheetah's
for a
not
second
running.
there, I was thinking
Yeah.
I was getting out of it. Damn.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't been giving it that much thought this whole time. I've been trying not to think about it. Because, okay, so this isn't my answer, but my mind immediately goes, of course, to like primates, right? Because they're the closest anatomy to humans. I don't necessarily want to fuck a monkey, you know? I don't really want to fuck any animal. And is it also an option for the animal to fuck me? You know, you gotta be open.
No, you have to finish.
Oh God.
Yikes.
No,
So
no reach around here.
No horsecock stories. Damn.
Didn't we have somebody?
Kelly picked a horse.
Yeah,
I actually thought about a horse.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah. She picked a horse, and everybody just went, "Wow, okay,
Eric?
you went there."
Eric picked the raccoon.
Yeah.
Eric picked the raccoon.
Can I hear the reasoning behind raccoon? What's
After the podcast, we'll find it.
okay?
Because I don't want to paraphrase what could be a funny joke.
Fucking trash bags.
I guess since I have to go with just the lesser of many evils, I guess I would choose whatever primate I could find that has the closest biological signature to. Like,
So you're just gonna walk into
So
a
a
zoo. I'm gonna
chimp.
be like, I'm gonna fuck you.
No, this is
You gotta pick one because your girlfriend is this specific animal.
Well, I can't okay if you give me like 20 seconds to Google it, you know, like I'm saying.
If you need to know the closest human equivalent, that would be a chimp.
Chimp.
What about a macaque?
Also, you know what? I could probably kind of get down with a sloth too. You know, they're pretty like chill,
Dead fishes there.
and nonchalant. You know, and we'd probably cuddle after for at least a little while they transform back. I imagine it's like a Pokemon evolving, like they start flashing and like slowly expanding.
Now I'm just picturing the person evolving back to human form while I'm just sitting there still mounted in.
No. And we never even specified if it was a male or female relative either. Which I mean, whatever your
Not
preference
It's your
is.
relative.
loved one.
It's like your significant other.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, we never
We
specified.
don't care if you have a boyfriend.
Like,
No.
no, we're not asking
So
you to fuck a sister.
Okay, so like this entire time, I was
That'd be
thinking like
weird.
it might be like your aunt or some shit.
No,
That's why I was like,
no.
is it consensual?
I would leave her.
No.
I would leave her.
No,
That changes the conversation deeply, assuming that you guys already have an intimate
I will
relationship.
Question.
I will be
Begin with.
openly putting this out
When
there.
you say
If it
loved
is
one.
anyone who is a relative of mine, you're a fucking animal now. Deal with it.
That's how I thought. When he said loved one, I thought it was like a relative. 'Cause
No, no.
Significant other definitely changes the perspective a little bit.
Did I say loved one when I
Yes,
originally
you
said the
did.
question? Okay.
Yeah, you did.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That okay? So yeah, I guess I would. Sloth is pretty legit though. Sloth are quite, you know,
That's actually probably one of the most like rational answers we've heard so far.
what? You ask him.
Because sloth's not gonna do anything.
This is an irrational question, Clinton.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to apply some logical thought. You know what I'm saying?
But it works out because a sloth probably wouldn't care. Or would be too slow to notice.
Like I said, we would cuddle a little bit. I think cuddling with a sloth would be pretty like baller.
I think she would be fine with it.
I might even like savor the cuddle experience.
I mean, if
beforehand.
there's cuddling involved, then yeah, I might choose like a raccoon then.
You're
They look-
jumping to the raccoon now?
They look
I'd really like
soft as
to cuddle
fuck.
with a Pomeranian.
You know what looks real soft?
Like, I'm not kidding you. I've seen videos of people who own raccoons. I want one. They'll like sit on the couch and eat chips with you while you watch a movie. My
If
cat
if
doesn't
you're
do
mainly
that.
concerned with like,
Like, my cat doesn't do that.
with
My
just,
cat
like-
says "fuck you" and goes away. But a raccoon would be like, "Yo, motherfucker, pass popcorn."
if it was just a question of like least resistance, then probably like a turtle or something, right?
Oh god. If it's a snapping turtle.
Just make sure
fuck,
you're on the
we're
right
again.
end. You don't turn around all that quick. You're good.
You're just like kind of
Pick up
standing
the whole
behind it like
turtle.
No, no.
strifing just to follow its turn.
You just put that bitch on its back. You know what I'm saying? Flip it.
Go any
Flip it on the mattress. You know.
All right,
Alexa, play my sexy time playlist.
we
Flip that hoe.
Remind me to bleep where we work later.
You asked the question.
oh
I gave an answer.
we're now at 53 minutes into the podcast. We'd like to change topics to anything on the emergency list.
Did you deem this an emergency, Matt?
Yes,
Well,
I do.
As I heard, your format in the last 30 minutes is talk about games, right? There's-
Yeah.
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 We're falling off the
Typically gaming or entertainment based. And you know, I never can have like these conversations with Jacob because he doesn't watch like half the shit I do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he
fuck
doesn't
Jacob.
keep up with like gaming.
You hear this,
news as
Jacob?
much as
I'm on your
everybody
channel.
else.
Fuck you. You should have been here. Tell me
he-
otherwise.
He doesn't keep up with like gaming news as much as
kidding, I
like you
love
would
you.
think.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh yeah, I'm a big gamer, and you're like, oh, have you heard about what's going on between I don't know, Activision Blizzard? And he'd be like, the who?
Though, to be honest, I find that like there's like almost a lull around at the moment, just because like almost gaming companies themselves are losing credibility with all the scandals and the drama around Battlefield
Oh, yeah.
5
Hey, Respawn's
and
doing well.
Fallout 76.
I don't even
and-
know all the drama around Battlefield
Even-
5, and I'm playing it quite a lot.
Yeah, I had
Like
fun
I
with
enjoy
the
the
game.
game, and
Wait.
people are like, no, we're not allowed to like Battlefield 5
Is
anymore,
this
and I'm
something
like,
that
I'm
has to do
confused.
with like loot,
Why?
like loot boxes or like
Probably.
the pay to
Not
pay to
necessarily
win
with Battlefield
format?
5. It was more so with the whole like feminist agenda sort of thing. Not to say like
Yeah, yeah.
there was
yeah.
originally a question of just historical accuracy, but then like the producer went on, or not the producer, I forget his specific position, went on to basically say like if you don't like it, don't buy it. Like not even just 100% hard stop wall. He later got fired, but
Yeah, which actually I don't understand.
and the sales
that.
did plummet.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, I don't understand that. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Well, yeah, that's
That
common
should be a
fucking
that should be a
sense.
A lot
controversial
of people
statement.
just don't buy it
That
because
should-
it's a
Well,
game
well,
that
no,
they
no,
like
so-
in the past.
I'm probably painting him in a different light. There was a lot of stuff leading up to this point, and it was all just like it was turning the game launch basically into like an SJW sort of argument, which
Yeah. All because you can pick to have a female model in the game, which I get. It's World War II. That's not technically accurate,
I
but
just like smaller hitboxes.
it's a
That's a very practical reason.
Yeah.
I like that.
yeah, me too. I do the same thing in
Because
Titanfall
I
all
would,
the
I
time.
would like kind of sway more perverted. Like, what if, like, I don't want to look at a man's ass the entire
Yeah.
time.
It's a
I'm playing.
first-person shooter.
I
You
very
ain't gonna
well-
see shit.
That's
I
why I
very
play the
well,
robot
versus-
in Apex.
yeah. I
Smallest
enjoy
hitbox.
running around as a small, frail Asian lady with a double barrel shotgun. That's my jam in
But
Battlefield
it's-
5. But anyways, the original statement was just to say like there's just been a lot of controversy and disappointments, even going back to say like Destiny or beyond,
Yeah.
343 taking over Halo, stuff like that. It's just it's almost like dark times,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
video games. It's everything like becoming, I guess, like
It's a YouTube
advertiser friendly, or in a sense almost,
Which is
Um,
actually kind of weird that it's doing that if you think about it. Because if you actually look at like the list of games we've gotten over the past 2 years, we've gotten some really stellar fucking video games.
Oh, definitely.
And then, but yeah, if you look at like the business side of things, you're like, holy shit, this is the Middle Ages.
Well, yeah, and I feel like too we had like the huge like uproar of like early adoption games and Steam Greenlight and stuff like that, and now it's become sort of commonplace to release unfinished products as full titles.
Yeah.
I just feel like people themselves are getting sort of weary and
Yeah.
I don't know, just they're like people are getting tired of constantly being disappointed.
That's why Apex launched so well.
I think so too. Like my number one thing that I loved about the game when it first played was just the fact that it ran well. And that shouldn't be like a discerning, like noticeable factor. You know what I'm
Yeah, it
saying?
really should.
A finished game should run well. I have a 1080 Ti. I'm looking at you, PUBG, or any other title insert.
Pretty much
here,
any
you
other
know?
BR has
Yeah.
not launched well, as far as like how it runs on launch.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I mean, I think a lot of people nowadays just don't expect them to run well. And there are some games that I can understand, like, especially games that are always going to be online sort of games, and maybe they haven't done an online only game in a while. I can understand maybe some server issues out the gate.
Yeah.
That's always going to be common with any game. But, like, bugs with your engine, bugs graphically,
oh, yeah, game breaking stuff.
like, game breaking shit, like, yeah, that I don't understand. Like, okay, then clearly you didn't test it well enough, because I can list off tons of companies like The Witcher 3, at least for me, I had barely any bugs. I think once my horse freaked out and flew into the sky.
Has to
And
be expected. at
and
this point.
honestly, that was just hilarious. But like, and then you go back and play like Fallout 4. There's still to this day certain glitches that I run into.
yeah.
When I go, like when Fallout
Gotta love
76
Bethesda.
came out, and
I'm
I was
sure.
like, man, I really want to play Fallout 4 again, because I don't want to play 76 because I'm not a big multiplayer dude. So I'm like, I'm gonna go play Fallout 4, and I walked into an area and I literally couldn't see the stairs, and then I realized, oh yeah, that's right. If I remember correctly, there's a glitch here. The stairs are actually like underneath the map, so I had to go around and then go under the fucking map, and like, yep, that's a common bug. That's been there for 3.5 years.
I mean, we could talk about bugs still, like in Fallout 3, and Fallout
yeah.
New Vegas.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, here's basically like I guess the most interesting part of it. If you look at the games that people like commonly associate as disappointing or a failure, or even just the game companies that produce them, there's a huge shift towards monetization and mass appeal, especially in a multiplayer standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
By the same token, if you look at the games that you thought that came out the past year that were like excellent, they're probably like very story oriented driven titles, you know, stuff that was written well with good development that people like spent years to work on, you know.
So pretty much PlayStation all of last year.
But I mean, like, it's scary that like having good content, like I said, is a differentiating factor. Like, of course, being the best or being good separates yourself from everybody else. I'm not denying that. But like, just the fact that, hey, this is like digestible, you know, and that makes it a good game versus, you know, the million others that are competing for, you know, our space right now that, like I said, just have resulted in controversy, disappointment.
A game should just be judged on its playability. Like, is it a fun game to begin with? Not like the question of its mechanics or if like my computer can even support it. Like, optimization should always be the most important thing when it comes to a game. But I feel like that shouldn't even be like in like contention for like any kind of reviewer. It should always be like the gameplay mechanics, how it feels to play, like with the controllers, or everything smooth. Can you like it? Despite the learning curve, it's something that you can get into. 3, if it's applicable, the story and the writing of the game. If it's a single player game, like that should be the criteria of what makes a good game. Not like you putting it in the console or installing it on your PC on day one, and it's just like this glitchy, buggy mess.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I said, I think it's just orienting itself towards like a monetization model. Like I said, what can we fit in terms of day one DLC or expandable content? Like, you know, you've already purchased a $60, $70 game, and then like 30% of it's locked away by another $60, another $30.
See, that though is an argument I've never really agreed with. Just because if you actually factor in for inflation, video games have been $60 for over 20 years. If you actually account for inflation, we should actually be spending somewhere in the ballpark of like 110 to 130 on a video game if we paid the same amount that we used to.
There's way more free to play popular games out now.
Yeah, so it's like people. I don't know. I've just never personally agreed with that argument of like, well, I already paid this much for it.
Yeah, no,
well,
I'm not saying like you can withhold content behind like. Yeah. You know, you pay for extra. There's games that have been great examples of this, like even like say like Skyrim, or like, I recently played Kingdom Come Deliverance, and it has some excellent DLC that I really enjoyed.
Great game.
I guess like the specification there is like whenever you don't get the full title, even though you've paid the full price. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, DLC should be additive, not like
it shouldn't be the experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like you should pay for the experience, and then they can release like additional experiences.
I've never found, at least me personally, I've never found a DLC that was like this locked off a good chunk of the experience day one. Because most day one DLC I've ever seen is like, hey, if you get day one DLC, you get a mission, and then you show up for the mission, and you're like, cool, this is a DLC mission. And they're like, cool, go capture like 4 rabbits, please. And then
as much as
it's easy, dumb content.
As much as I love Final Fantasy 15, probably one of my like easily like favorite like RPG games, the DLC for it didn't feel like it was DLC. Like it was just stuff that they cut out of the game and then sewed it back.
Yeah, but their DLC came out like way after.
Yeah.
So like, they could have just been like, it wasn't ready yet, and we had to release it.
That also brings down the argument that a game shouldn't be releasing if it's not finished.
Yeah, but do you feel like, how many hours did it take you to beat it before DLC?
The first playthrough, probably like about 30 hours.
30 hours?
Then when I replayed it after all the available DLC came out, it was close to like maybe 40 to 50 hours.
40 to 50 hours,
because
and they came out with what, 4 DLCs? They
came out, 3, and then a multiplayer expansion that I've never touched yet.
I've never touched it either.
Then they have like one more like DLC episode coming out in March. But playing those individual DLC episodes, like I get it. They had to rework completely new mechanics for each playable character. Because if you guys aren't familiar with Final Fantasy 15, it's a story about this prince who has to leave his kingdom because his land was just invaded by the opposing like fucking country.
Yeah,
And
they walked
his
in and was
dad
like, we
sent-
own this shit now.
His dad sent him out like for him to survive and to marry a woman that he was
be a guy.
basically appointed to.
Yeah.
But
We don't judge on
the game's story basically like emphasizes the connection this guy has with the three people who are protecting him. Like a guy who was like a mentor to him, the guy who was literally his bodyguard, and then his best friend. The entire game puts a focus into these 4 specific humans. And like I think the story from just the main character's perspective did a decent job, but because they made you care about the other players, all the scenes where those other people were gone, you should have been able to experience in the base game. Because they were such an integral part to the plot overall that when their DLC episodes came out, it just felt like this like ties up like plot holes that I had when I originally beat the game.
Yeah.
A game should be finished when you beat it. Not beat it and then finish the game like 2 or 3 months from now because they didn't give you the whole story.
But then that makes me feel like you also don't like sequels that continue the story from the previous game. Because it's like, oh, that game had a plot hole in it, so this sequel should have just been in the first game.
Sequels are different because they're building off of not only the supposed cliffhanger from the first title, but they're also continuing the story in new twists and turns. The writer made a good stopping point that answered everything, or a good like at least 90% of everything in the first title, and left room for the sequel.
Like
the sequel shouldn't be DLC finishing what the first game failed to do.
Yeah, I get that argument I just made was a bit facetious, but the point I'm trying to make is like they can't possibly just like, oh well, we have to plug every plot hole to be a good game. For me, a judge of a like a complete experience is when I finish it, I'm like, yes, that feels complete because I spent a lot of time on it. Like, if I played The Witcher 3 today and they took out the entire Skellige section of the map, no quests over there, no nothing, I would still view that as a complete experience. If they just found a way to rework the story into the main part of the map, I would never have felt like that was incomplete, because as long as, to me, when I played through Final Fantasy 15, and that was actually pretty recently, sad to say, it took me so long to beat it, I felt it was complete. I didn't even realize there were plot holes until I went into the DLCs. And then I was like, oh, okay, that, I guess, plugs that up for me. It didn't really bother me because when I was done, I was like, that was a good story. I enjoyed that.
Well, they were marketing the DLC as literally what's filling in the gaps of everything that you missed in the main plot. It wasn't setting up for a new experience. It was just trying to catch you up on the experience that you missed.
Yeah, I guess the important part is to specify the comment was mainly against particularly bad DLC. I'm not against releasing additional content. I'm totally for reviving old games and bringing up new experiences. And I definitely support people making money on things that they worked hard on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no,
it's not a war on DLC.
Yeah, and I know I didn't think it was like a war on DLC. I just took it as a...
yeah, no, definitely. I understand. It's a very valid point.
As day one DLC is, oh, well, they just didn't complete it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I think the flip side, too, is also like in multiplayer experiences where you directly benefit over other players by spending money in the game.
No, that's fucking evil as shit. If you're a game developer out there and you have a video game where you can buy power, you should probably just not make video games anymore. You have fucked up.
Unless you want to sponsor this podcast. 130
Plenty of ad space. Still got 30 minutes.
Yeah, we still have 22 minutes remaining. If you would like to call in real fast, we'll sponsor whatever the fuck you want. Just give us money.
But you have to answer the question of which animal you'd fuck live on air.
And we have to be legally allowed to give that answer to our viewers.
We can block out your name, but we need your answer. But going back to DLC, like, there was plenty of good examples of DLC.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
How they just like they're just rolling out new maps, new characters, even like
All the
after
time.
3 years after the game's been out.
Yeah, and now granted, I will be honest, because I played that at launch. It was broken at launch. It was netcode
Y'all remember
issues.
those Gen 1 shields?
Yeah, Gen 1 shields.
I love Gen 1 shields.
Netcode was trash. Everything was wrong with it. But That's one reason why a lot of people like they still give Ubisoft shit, but I back Ubisoft 100% now, is because now they're trying to turn their name around and they're openly putting effort behind all of their games long term.
Oh, that's definitely true. The same thing with The Division. They released a lot of major updates, even free stuff. You know, after the fact that added a lot of content to the game.
That's why I'm really excited for Division 2.
Speaking of like a recent game, like Resident Evil 2, complete from the ground up remake of the PS1 Resident Evil 2, a game that was made like 20 years ago. They completely rebuilt it from the ground up using the Resident Evil 7 engine, and the game looks fucking beautiful. Like, just them doing the original game would be enough. But what they decided to do is that they made additional content following 3 other people in the game and releasing that as free DLC. Like, they didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
They just wanted to tell a different side of the story happening in the same universe.
Yeah.
And then,
I'm
like,
not a Resident Evil guy.
You said The Witcher. Yeah. The Witcher, when it releases DLC, was like a whole nother fucking story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't continuing what the game left out.
Yeah.
It was just adding to it.
There was 2 DLCs. Hearts of Stone was a smaller self-contained story within the main map already. And then Blood and Wine just was like, hey, you want a whole new area? A whole new, like, 30 hours of main story, plus another 45 hours of side content.
Let me give you what should be The Witcher 4
and then
DLC.
And then, on top of that, when they launched, they were like, hey, and we're still working on some assets for the game, so in 3 weeks, you're getting 16 new pieces of DLC. And it was simple stuff, but it was just like, here's a whole new item set, and we made sure to test it and balance it, so no matter when you get it, it's going to be balanced and you're not going to feel too strong. Oh, hey, we just randomly one day felt like, you know, Geralt needs new hair. Hey, by the way, guys, you got new hair. And everybody was like, wait, but y'all didn't say we were getting new hair. Yeah, Jeff, the artist guy, just felt like putting together new hair, so boom, you now have new hair options.
And then, like, another random example of good DLC from Nintendo. When the Mario Kart 8 came out for the Wii U. Just standard 8 courses, a lot of characters. You know, every Mario Kart game before then has only consisted of 4 cups. So it was the standard. It was fine. Nobody expected more. They wanted more because they didn't even think that was a thing.
Yeah.
But when they released DLC, it gave you 5 new racers to play as that have never been in any of the previous games. Wow. And they doubled the amount of tracks.
Wow.
They literally gave you 4 more cups. They doubled their game with their DLC.
Damn.
If you look at the titles and stuff, the reoccurring theme, of course, I think is just like when games are either well thought out or basically like a passion project. Like, people believe in this, and the root of a story, just like a movie or any other piece of art, is to, you know, communicate a story, you know, transgress a feeling to another person. And I feel like almost, I don't think you can necessarily directly point the blame, but I think especially like the area of like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, I think that brought upon like almost a monetization model rather than a quality model. If that makes sense. Like, can we keep pumping out games? Can we still keep making money? And again, not against people making money off the things that they do, but like how many Assassin's Creeds have there been now? Yeah. And the first ones were so good. That's the worst part of it.
Well, the thing is, each one has led to a different thing. So, you know, we get Call of Duty and it just keeps on going. And then Ubisoft is actually like taking a Yui. They took 1 year off, giving all 3 of their Ubisoft Assassin's Creed projects 1 extra year of development. On top of that, now they're going to be in a cycle from here on out where it's going to be like 2 or 3 years back to back of an Assassin's Creed, and then a year off, because they have 3 studios making it. So, like, on one hand, you have Activision, which just like full steam ahead, let's do this, and then you have Ubisoft going, no, let's turn this shit around. Let's actually put time and effort into Siege. Let's put time and effort into Division. Let's give Assassin's Creed another year. And Origins was, I don't know if everybody else here agrees, but Origins was like fucking hit out of the park. I thought it was great. Odyssey, which came out at the end of 2018, I thought wasn't as good as Origins to me, but I still thought it was fucking great. So, So companies have two ways of taking it.
Yeah, no, I'd
don't
probably
know.
shout out two passion projects mainly. Of course, and neither of them I've actually played, but like you can just resonate with the quality and the time spent. Because I've never owned anything past the PlayStation 1 on the PlayStation side. Admittedly, I've been a PC gamer for a very long time.
You were missing out, man.
Me too.
But I want to shout out Detroit Become Human, which I thought was fantastically and wonderfully done. I think it took something like 7 to 11 years or somewhere in that time frame. I forget which one.
It was 7 because
7?
about 7 years ago was when Heavy Rain came out.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, like the thing that showed was just the quality behind the scenes, the multiple stories, very engaging. Even though I never played it myself, just watching people play it, like I was engrossed in the story, like attached to the characters. And the other one being, of course, like Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Again, another game multiple years in the making and production, and it shows.
That game.
Even without huge DLCs and
Already tearing me up just mentioning the game.
multiplayer experiences. I mean, we're not going to talk about Red Dead multiplayer, but
Hey, can I actually borrow that from you at some point?
You want to borrow Detroit?
Yeah, because I actually haven't played it yet.
Sure.
it is so good. I've never played it, of course.
Do you
I
have a
watched
PlayStation 4
playthrough.
now? I thought you had an Xbox.
I have Xbox One X, PC, and
Uh-oh.
PlayStation 4
Comes
Pro,
out.
There you go.
and a Nintendo Switch.
Oof, I need to get a Switch.
No, well, I've always had a PC, but my buddies had an Xbox One, so I got that, and then one day I had gotten like my tax returns, and I really wanted to play like a few of the PlayStation exclusives, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to get a PlayStation 4, and they were like, hey, the Pro is on sale, and I went, yeah, I'll go with that, right? And then my mom got me a Switch, and I'm like, I've got everything.
Yeah.
And now everyone's going, PlayStation 5's coming, and I'm like, fuck you guys, man. Just, why?
It's going to get to a point where the consoles are going to be just like PC. There would be no reason to buy a new generation of
It
them.
has
You could
to.
just...
Because of the fact that, like,
You're talking about a fully modular, upgradable console. I can get behind that. You know. what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I think everybody can, just because of the simple fact that they said,
Getting close to the door all the way.
they
That
said,
monster.
I got it.
You sure?
Yeah.
they said, like, what was it? When the Xbox 360 came out, that they were going to do 10-year cycles on consoles. Well, then the Xbox One came out 8 years or so later, and they were like, and then they were like, oh, it's going to be another 8 years before the next one, and now they're already like, okay, maybe we should knock that down to like 6 years between consoles. And it's like they keep having to speed it up, and I'm just like, less and less people are going to be getting consoles because they're like, in 3-4 years I'm going to have to spend $500-$600 more to get the next one. And I don't know.
For sure. I'm
It's
still
a
appalled
weird
that,
cycle.
that they're able to still charge for multiplayer experience. That's something that baffles me every time.
Oh,
That
with
people
like
are
Xbox Live and
Xbox
stuff?
Live, PlayStation Network,
Well,
PlayStation Plus.
I'm okay with it now because of things they've done. Now, last generation, I would agree with you on that, but this generation, they've really tried to make those services worthwhile. Each one will give you
Oh yeah, when you get like free
completely
games
free
and content
games,
and stuff like that.
usually 3 games a month.
I'm just talking about like limiting your access to connect to another person
Yeah.
because you're not paying the money.
Yeah, that does blow me away. And it always has and always will. I'm used to PC. That's what I grew up on. I've only recently started dabbling in consoles with this generation, really. Dabbled a little bit with 360 and Xbox original.
Going
But-
backwards.
But, like, you know, I dabbled with those. But these are the only ones that I've really, like, stuck with.
And I'm the opposite of you, man. I grew up entirely playing consoles. Like,
Yeah,
that was
same.
the only like game experience I had until like maybe like a year or two ago when I
Definitely.
finally
Super
built
Nintendo,
my first
Nintendo
PC.
64, PlayStation 1,
Yeah, that was
GameCube.
Yep.
never me. I was always like, Age of Empires 2. Yeah.
Now, mind you, I, like,
Counter-Strike, original.
the youngest experience I've had PC gaming was probably like some random MMO. Like I played like a little bit of the original RuneScape.
I was about to say RuneScape, man. That would be my only-
Everybody.
I actually
played on,
never
like,
played RuneScape.
the
You're
shittiest
too young.
little
That's the
like
thing.
Yeah, you're too young.
God,
I'm
this
only a year.
was so many years ago. But the shittiest little Acer like netbook.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm talking Probably Atom or Pentium, 2 gigs of RAM, like 250 gigs of storage, maybe.
Yeah.
But man, so many hours of RuneScape on that.
Oh yeah, I remember coming home from school, watching Boy Meets World, watching Toonami, and then immediately getting on RuneScape for like 4.5 hours. Like
But
that was my deal when I was like 11.
no, definitely.
That's what I did, but with Minecraft instead.
I played a lot of Minecraft
Yeah,
too.
Same.
Minecraft for me didn't come out until I was almost done with high school.
Same.
Oh.
Minecraft came out my junior year, and
Yeah.
it was the beta. It wasn't even like the full release title yet.
Oh really? You did?
Yeah.
You waited all the way till beta?
yeah.
I played it in alpha,
Oh,
and
fuck you.
I remember the update that they were like, "Hey guys, we're adding our first enemy, zombies," and I'm like, "Oh fuck." Y'all are actually adding survival elements? I was just like building houses, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, when they add creepers.
But at that point, my only exposure
loves
to
him.
PC gaming was probably my dad, but he only literally played Microsoft Flight Simulator and then Mist and Riven, and that was it. And Mist and Riven to this day, I don't know, it was just ominous and it creeped me the fuck out because it was like silent, there's not a lot going on, you would click shit and then there'd be noises, and
Yep.
it just, I had anxiety because it was quiet. And I
I
couldn't
do
figure it out.
admit though, like my mom played a lot of like downloadable games like Bejeweled and stuff like
Oh,
that
yeah.
before
Oh,
they
yeah.
became
Oh, yeah.
apps.
Yeah.
Right? There was this one game that I really loved playing. I forgot what it was called, but like it was basically like this puzzle game where you had
Pinball for Microsoft XP or Windows XP.
Yeah,
had a-
yes.
you had this
When you
big
have no
square and a lot of like circular like fuzzy creatures, and you just had to drag the line or the column to line them up. And then when you had like 3 or more, they would pop and explode.
I have no
like-
idea what that is.
Like
That
one
sounds
was
like
and
Bejeweled.
it was a puzzle game. Like
That
Bejeweled,
sounds-
you had to swap 2 specific pieces.
Oh.
This one, you had to literally take a line or like a roll, and then just line them up that way. It was essentially the same fucking game, just a different mechanic.
It's like
Another
Shots fired.
game.
Bejeweled Tetris.
Another game was
Candy Crush?
fucking Nancy Drew.
Oh,
It was like
I remember
Click Adventures.
Oh, and like
Yep.
the I Spy games
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
On the
Yep.
little
Yep.
disc you get them at
Diner
Walmart.
Dash.
you had to take your cursor and just like
I'm surprised those are still sold to
Yep.
this day.
me as a kid, I didn't care about plot. I didn't read anything anybody said. I was just spamming the left button trying to
Yeah,
find
just-
something I could interact with.
Oh,
so
maybe that's why I've grown
Brute
to love
force.
clicker games.
Brute force, man.
I'm just so used to clicking so
and
far.
then as I got older, I want to say about like maybe 10 to like 12, that's when I discovered Newgrounds, and then like all like this huge community of just people making their own games.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Everybody went through their web browser game.
Yeah.
Flash
Oh.
era?
Yep.
See,
Rip
for a
RIP
second I thought
Flash
you were
for
talking
listening.
about just hentai games.
Oh.
That's hot.
It was
Dude,
many
Orgasmo
years
Girl?
later.
Yes.
Yeah. But there was this one there was this one game in particular, like escape room games.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking love them.
Fucking
And then like
for a wall,
sometimes
click to like look at
Yep.
the different walls.
and then sometimes they like creeped me the fuck out. Like you were put in like an intentionally dark place with the
Oh.
lights are blinking, and every time you find a clue, you hear a noise, and just like it felt like they immersed you in like this horror situation, but nothing scary actually fucking happened.
No.
No.
Fucked me over was fucking Legend of Zelda for Nintendo 64. The zombies in Hyrule when I was a kid are probably the reason to this day why I can't play horror games. I
Bruh.
was so fucking
Just
freaked
walking
out.
past them that screech and you're frozen. Your character literally won't move, and you're just
And you gotta like
bouncing up
mash
and-
buttons while they're like chomping your neck off and shit. Oh my god, PTSD. That, and I credit my fear of horror games to God, I just fucking blanked.
Resident Evil 2.
Not even Resident Evil. No, The Sims. When the Grim Reaper would show
What?
up, whenever
Oh.
your Sim
Scared
died,
you?
I would shut off the console. Power button. No going back.
See, that never bothered me.
This is like Sims 1 or 2 for,
For
like,
me-
Xbox.
Abominable Snowman. Abominable
See-
Snowman was the first game that fucked me up.
See, I had never played a game that fucked me up for a long time because, like I said, I grew up on strategy games. There's nothing scary about 2 knights beating the shit out of each other in the middle of a field. But then my brother came home one day and he's like, yeah, Dad got that PlayStation, or I think it was PlayStation. He's like, and I got this from my friend at school. It's Resident Evil 2. And I was like, what's that? And he's like, it's going to be fun. And I didn't even play it. I never played it myself. I sat next to him, watched for all of 40, 50 minutes, and then ran out of the room screaming. And ever since then, you can ask this gentleman here, if you put me in,
talking about Spanky.
if you put me in front of a horror game, I will freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
They made me play Amnesia on the channel once, which I don't know if you've ever played Amnesia.
I've watched it.
Watch
That's
it.
close enough.
Fucking terrifies me.
If it makes you feel any better, there's a YouTube video of me screaming like a little girl playing Slender Tubbies.
I can agree with that.
Jacob
good.
has deliberately made me play scary games on the channel because he knows I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a massive bitch.
Content.
And basically anything that makes you more excitable is more.
You get a genuine reaction, you know. It's
Yeah.
not being faked.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I don't fuck with it.
Which is why I'm playing the Resident Evil 2 remake completely blind. Because
Yeah.
I never
Yeah. Fuck that.
I experienced the original one
Uh-huh.
when I was a kid, and then I replayed it for the channel. Like I don't know if you knew this, but me and Jacob we played, recorded, and beat the original Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation.
Y'all never uploaded that, did you?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, because I was about to say, that's never been on the channel.
Never made it through the light of day. We didn't even try to bother editing it because the mic quality was such shit. Back in the day, we only had the one microphone that we would share
Unregistered
between
hypercam
us.
too.
Yikes.
I tell you what, man. I have everyone can hear me. Hear me now. I am issuing a challenge to Mr. Clinton here, Mr. Spanky. I will let you borrow my Rift to play Resident Evil in VR.
Oh,
is it only on
man.
PlayStation though? Is it on PC? I just
No,
thought about
Resident Evil
that.
7's on PC.
But is it
Yeah.
in VR?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I reissue my challenge. I'll let you borrow my Rift. I have 3 sensors and everything. Mounts, all you need.
Or if you want to do the Vive, I've also got that. Whichever is your preference. You've got 2 options.
We've called you
would,
out.
I would pay to watch that.
I'd pay to watch it in person.
And if you at home would pay to watch that, we have 100 or an hour and 30 minutes of open ad space.
This podcast is brought to you by Spanky's Being a Bitch. Please subscribe.
And then the outro sound isn't music; it's just a scream.
Me.
Yeah.
Screaming. It's not like the random scream we found online. Oh man, we're close to the
Man,
end.
that time.
See, we
I'm
did it.
edging.
Hey,
I'm so
can we go over?
close.
We didn't need the emergency topic list.
Can we still talk about him?
All right, Apex in 4 minutes.
I do want
Let's
to talk
go.
about Apex.
Okay.
We're able to go over.
you know
right?
what?
We've had done like fast bullet rounds in the past, so this is kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
nostalgic.
Just Apex.
So-
Okay.
I want you to
Okay,
lead
everybody-
the
You want me
discussion.
to lead?
Everybody
Nathan?
pick one. I'll do number 4. You, I guess, can do.
I don't know.
one.
I think
Wait,
we've
are we
just got Apex,
1 minute?
man.
Yeah.
Give this man a platform.
Go.
Yeah,
Nathan, it's your
okay.
time to shine.
All right, so I'm currently playing Apex Legends competitively, very seriously, as in I can't talk about a lot of things, but it's a lot of fun. Oh, by the way, I found out last night I'm number 4 in the world for Pathfinder, so that's
Oh.
pretty huge.
I don't know what that means, but congratulations.
Yeah.
As
Yeah, I
in
don't know what it means
all the
yet. I'll know
millions
later
of
tonight.
players, he's like the 4th best.
Out of like
Out of
is
that
Pathfinder
character.
like a class?
He's a character.
Yeah,
He's a character.
it's one of the
Oh,
characters,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I haven't
so
played it yet. I'm
Out of
playing it when I
everybody
get
who's
home.
played that one character, you're the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's good. And isn't Apex Legends like
didn't know I
actually like
slept next to a
beating
legend.
Fortnite in popularity now?
It is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I saw a screenshot today where Apex Legends was actually one step lower on Twitch rankings, and it was only by like 2K viewers.
Yeah, but it also got to the
That-
same amount of viewers and the same amount of concurrent players. I think it was like
In a span of a week.
4
not
times
even.
faster
It was like
than
Yeah.
Fortnite ever did.
Much
it was
faster.
within like the first like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And then it stayed there, which was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, Apex Legend is a free battle royale game that
Free-to-play
came out
battle
from the company Respawn, right?
Respawn.
Yep.
The
They
people
made
responsible-
Titanfall, Titanfall 2. They made a Star Wars game.
Which Star
No,
Wars
they're
game?
making a Star
Oh,
Wars game.
Them-
Yeah, they're
oh,
making.
They're making my bad.
Yeah, they're making a Star Wars game. They came out with Titanfall 1 and Titanfall 2. And if you're ever worried about their credentials, Respawn is made up from
Oh,
the
they also made
original
A
Infinity
Blackout?
Ward.
or Black Ops game.
No, they're the ones who
Oh.
made Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Okay.
The
I like-
very first
I like
Modern Warfare. Yeah.
Technically, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they made the first 4 Call of Duty games.
And then after that, it got split up, and everybody was making Call of Duty games. And I think after like Modern Warfare 2, they essentially turned to Activision and went like, "Hey, y'all, suck my dick,"
Nathan,
and then deuced.
I have a very important question about Apex Legends.
What's that?
Is there dancing involved?
No.
No.
Oh,
Thank God.
thank you,
Sorry, I know that was
Jesus.
Nathan's question.
The closest thing you can do is inspect your weapon.
And there's no building either.
Oh.
It's a dream come true. Although I would floss on some kids, you know.
Now,
That's really
out of
I do the
curiosity,
default dance.
have you played Titanfall 2?
Yes, I played Titanfall 2 competitive. That was actually the very first game I played competitively.
Oh, cool.
Oh, the origin story.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Huh?
Because I love that game. I play it all the time, even still to this day.
It's a very good game.
I understand that they've had to take out the wall running and all that. Is the combat, or not the combat, but
So,
the movement system
the move-
still
it's-
as complex?
It's a lot of the same.
Is-
You can't
Is there still
consistently
depth to
slide
it,
hop,
though?
but there's still a lot of movement abilities.
Oh, okay. You can't consistent slide hop, but you can maybe slide hop a little bit and all
Oh,
that.
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
If
So
you're on,
there's
like,
still
you get-
depth
You
to
get the first
movement.
one, but then it starts slowing down after that,
Okay.
and going down hills you can conserve momentum, and
Oh,
you
okay.
can still
it's like a
airstrafe
fucking
and
slip and
everything.
slide. It's
Yeah.
so great. I love sliding.
Yeah,
around and doing shit.
I like shooters that have complexity in their movement and complexity with their weapons, and
Oh yeah, no,
that's why I've
definitely.
always loved Titanfall. So I was really worried when I first heard about this. Like I said, I haven't played it yet. I'm playing it when I get home tonight for the first time.
It's good.
That's what I'm
Um,
doing when I get home.
Hey, me too.
Like
I
I
got
wanted to make
practice.
sure that there's still that complexity because that's why I love Titanfall 2. I've played it on every console and PC. Started on PC, then played on Xbox, then PS4 because I love the game. I love complexity, and that's the main thing that I was worried about playing it was a lack of that.
I don't like the gunplay and stuff.
You-
Is super tight.
It'll feel slower. Just put
Mhm.
your gun away and run.
Okay. Yeah, I
Pro
watched.
strats from Nate.
Yeah, I did watch a tips
Press
video,
3
and that was like the
to put your gun
first
away.
thing they did
Yeah.
was like, put your fucking gun away, you twat. Okay, now we can continue to the other tips.
Yeah. You run in molasses with your gun out.
Oh damn.
Wait, you running what?
Molasses.
Like
Molasses.
thick
Oh.
syrup
Oh man.
with me.
When you put it away, you feel like Naruto.
Now, overall, do you think it? Because you said you've played both. Like,
Mhm.
do you think like moment to moment game wise, why is it better than Fortnite, or is it better than Fortnite?
I'd say at Fortnite's peak. By the way, just for reference, I'm a skill gap person. I like very large skill gaps. So at Fortnite's peak, I enjoyed it more than I enjoy Apex right now. But based on Respawn's past behavior, I think that the game's only going to get better. It's not going to
Okay.
pull a Fortnite and just get worse every update.
Okay.
I think it's gonna get bigger as well, especially
Of course.
even as I'm sure you've alluded to, like as the esports community picks it up, as you know, any Twitch picks it up, as you know, I'm sure it's gonna surpass Fortnite eventually.
It's been past it.
That's what I'm
Whenever
saying,
I
it's
said
inevitable.
earlier that it was lower, that was just because of the Overwatch League, the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there is a premium currency, but it's really just for aesthetics.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't use it to level faster. You can't. Well, I guess there are other characters, but like
Mhm.
you can
get
naturally
paid
unlock
tomorrow.
them. You know.
Well, I know that when the game came out, Respawn actually released an article, and they asked him, why did you release it the way you did, with no hype, no nothing, it just kind of was there, and the owner said, well, we know we're tied to a company that is very badly known for loot boxes, and then mix that with the fact that we're not releasing Fallout 3 just yet. We figured it's better just to get it into their hands and let them play it instead of tell them
think
it's
that-
coming.
I think the timing was also
And
perfect for it.
I think
They
that's
did it when PewDiePie streamed Fortnite, and now Fortnite's dead. That's all I'm saying.
that's.
Next meme.
Review.
Next meme. But no.
But I think that's really cool, and I'm glad to see it's doing well, and I can't wait to play.
All right.
It's a
Well,
lot
I'm proud of
fun.
my friends at Respawn for this one.
As I understand it, Origin didn't actually know it was set to release when it did.
Really?
Or either they found it like a week before.
Yep.
Huh.
Like they had no idea it was even in development.
And they actually a week before they had said no, don't release it. And then Respawn said, trust us on this. And
Yeah.
then they were gonna release it anyway.
Yeah, and everybody was
publisher or not.
worried that EA made y'all do this, and they were like, no, this is what we planned to do from the beginning. They were like, when we saw PUBG and how much fun it was, we were like, what if we do it in the Titanfall universe? And I love how from the get-go in all of their marketing, they've been like, no, like, do not associate us with EA, even though they own us. They're like distancing themselves from them, and it's great.
Anyways, I think you were about to try and wrap us up.
yeah,
sorry.
Literally what I was going to do. So
I'd like to point out that my water bottle is still not empty, and Clinton's is, and it's not thrown away. So
Well, it's not on the table anymore.
since he called me out for that already.
All right. Well, I just want to thank both our guests, Nathaniel and Luke.
Anytime,
being
man.
on
We've been
tonight's
talking about it
podcast.
for a long time.
Right?
Yeah.
And I want to thank Matt for filling in for Jacob. You're not just a replacement. You're a valued asset to the channel.
Even
A
though I talk
valued
way too
replacement.
much.
I love you.
Not just a
And I
replacement.
bet both of these guys agree.
I've said it multiple times that like I love it when Matt's on the podcast because he can just feel he can feel in like any like dead air because he can talk.
Yeah, I can.
But I want to thank everybody for listening. And
Join
do
us
you
next
guys-
time
well,
when
no,
we
no,
talk
no.
about YouTube poops.
do you
The
guys
entire
want to?
show.
I was going to say, do you guys want to plug anything? Because Nathaniel is a Twitch streamer, so if you want to.
Since you give me the opportunity, I stream almost every day at twitch.tv/SirBaconator. It's ER instead of OR at the end, just so you know. Because
Baconator.
it's
Baconator,
Nate.
not
Yeah.
or.
Yeah.
Sir Baconator. Okay. What about you, Luke? Do you have anything you're working on or doing?
Not really. Nothing to plug that's public necessarily or interesting.
That's fair. And with that, good night, everybody.
You smell good.
I love you. I hope you eat good food.
Happy Valentine's Day, all the single
Wait.
people.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I forgot.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Bye.
Dip your cherries in some chocolate.
I don't know how that will play out.